Well, happy Tuesday, and welcome to day number 3 of my personal journey through the 365 Science of Mind text. My name is Antonio Thornton, and I want to thank you for coming along with me. It's already been a blast just from the first few days. Being able to implement these powerful lessons on a daily basis is just it's a wonderful gift, I have to say. I apologize if I seem a little tired. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and actually 5 in the morning. And I am not just waking up. I've actually been up and will be going to sleep right after this video. But I will try to keep my energy up as best possible so that you can get the most out of this lesson, because it's a great one today, as they all are, but I love this one in particular. It's titled, I Enter into the Gladness of Living. I enter into the gladness of living. And just thinking about that for a moment before even reading the quote here, being glad for living. Just a wonderful, wonderful concept. No matter what your state is, no matter who you are, where you are, what's going on in your life, you have a life. And just being glad for that. So take that on as I'm reading through the text here. And the quote starts off with, give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and running over, shall men give into your bosom. And that's from Luke 6:38. And the text begins, who would not be a child again? Who would not again have the simple faith and childlike trust that somehow or other we seem to lose on the pathway of human experience? Things crowd in on us until we lose some of the greatest of all gifts, the simple, spontaneous joy of living and a trust in the power of good, which alone is able, ready, and willing to meet all our needs. Let us then again return to the place of assurance that comes with the simplicity of faith. And I'm going to read this next paragraph, which is a part of the affirmation for today. It says, I now release the multitude of doubts and fears that crowd into my mind. And I become quiet so that the divine miracle may take place in my life. I let every good I possess become multiplied as divine love acts upon my faith to bring into my experience everything necessary to my well-being. And I'm going to skip down and read the next paragraph here. It says, as so my faith, the faith of the little child in me, rises with expectancy to meet this new day in joy and to accept the bounty of heaven. With the faith of a little child, I place my human hand in the invisible hand of the all-sustaining good, and I let the miracle of life and love take place. How powerful is that we have such a great opportunity to live. And when we think about that, what better experience than childhood? I know not all of us had the best childhoods growing up. Some may have been more challenging than others. But even in that challenge, we find that children have the innate ability to find and experience joy in some of the most horrendous situations that we as adults would consider horrendous. And from the passage here that says, who would not again have those simple faith and childlike that, or the simple faith and childlike trust that somehow or another we seem to lose on the pathway of human experience. We lose a lot of the joy that we innately are born with as children, as we quote unquote take on more responsibility, as we quote unquote add to our lives in whatever capacity, whether it be jobs, houses, spouses, children, etc. We lose that childlike faith and trust. That same childlike faith and trust that gives us a deep sense of peace. You know, I'll tell you a quick story. I remember one day I was in my children's room, kind of moving a few things around. They were asleep at the time. It was the middle of the night. And somehow or another, I bumped into a bookshelf, you know, literally 6-foot tall bookshelf. I bumped into this bookshelf with books and other things on it. It fell over onto a chair, which somehow popped up and smashed onto the ground, and everything just fell all over the place. And these two, I don't know, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, I can't remember how old they were at the time, but they slept through that entire fiasco. Didn't budge. And I remember saying to myself, when do we lose that deep, deep sleep, that childlike sleep where we can sleep through anything? And that, I think that's an extension of what this is talking about, is that deep faith that we tend to lose over time, through the years, through choices that we make, and through beliefs and paradigms that we hold on to. I will, read a little bit from the passage of the affirmation to kind of take us into how do we practically apply this to our lives. I now release the multitude of doubts and fears that crowd into my mind, and I become quiet so that the divine miracle may take place in my life. And what I'm gleaning from that is letting go of all of those fears and worries and concerns that we take on when we become responsible, when we become responsible adults. And it says the multitude of doubts and fears. We don't tend to have as many doubts and fears as children as we do as adults. You might find a child wants to, pick up a scorpion, or some other dangerous bug, and we have to tell them, no, don't do that. That's dangerous, and rightfully so. But when in that entire process, we also will superimpose our fears and doubts onto them, so that they may grow up in a way that doesn't jeopardize our paradigm of what's safe and what's not. And those are the doubts and fears that create the scenario of us being in a state of fear, in a state of worry, and losing that childlike trust. So I would say to you, take on the idea of your bills are what they are, your spouse is who they are, your job is what it is, and there may be a conversation about those things that could be creating the fear, the worry, the multitude of doubts that we have allowed to rob us of that childlike joy and trust, and allow those things to be what they are. Love them, bless them for what they are, but not make them any more than what they are, so that you can live from your place of peace, quieting your mind and allowing your faith to be restored. So that's it for today. Entering into the gladness of living, just really being in a place of being joyful for being alive, and recognizing that it's just an awesome thing to be alive in this space, particularly now, for a whole multitude of reasons. So take that on for today, and be grateful, be thankful, just the fact that you're able to watch this video right now and share this video right now. What a wonderful thing to be grateful for. And I'll see you tomorrow.